Amite, star quarterback at Tulane, works on Sports Zone show along with many other shows, SEC post-game show with Richie and everybody else on WNOL and WGNO. Originally signed with LSU, transferred to Tulane, played in 31 games, passed for 6,608 yards, 55 touchdowns, served as the head coach at St. Martin's Episcopal and at Walker High School, and then of course spent time at Scotlandville and everywhere else under the sun, NFL, CFL, and they have it initially, probably played in that league too. He spent some time in the Arena League, and he's here to speak on the Saints. He might touch on college football as well, since he knows a little bit about that. And I got to get him on my show today too. So with that, he's here today. Please give a warm welcome to my friend Lester Ricard.
All right. The reason why everybody's here, thank you. You know, you stand around and hanging out. But, grateful to be here today. Honored that Ken called me last week and asked me to be a part of this amazing panel of speakers. I was shocked. And I was like, did you call the right person? But it's definitely a blessing to be here today. I want to give these gentlemen that's up here their flowers because they definitely deserve it as well. But before I do that, I want to wish my great friend Richie Mills a happy 25th birthday today. He just graduated from college last week, and so this is his first job out of college, is to come here and fill the quarterback club. But grateful to be here. Coach Ryan McNally, he knows how indebted I am to him. That guy gave me my first job coaching at high school in 2013 at 5300 St. Charles Avenue. That's De La Salle, if you don't know any better. And very grateful for the tutelage I got under him and learning how to be a head coach and what it takes to game plan and really do things the right way, because he's done it the right way since he's been coaching. And from there, I get an opportunity to go to Green Acres, where Coach Dyers is over here with these beautiful people at STM, and a great opportunity I had there. Love being a part of that great school, that great program, a K through 12 school that is like no other in the state of Louisiana, and I've always been indebted to everything that St. Martin's allowed me to be a part of. And then you look to my left, this gentleman who's gone already, and I was going to tell him, he's the reason I got ejected in my first high school basketball game. My dad, being a preacher now, speaks the gospel, preaches the gospel. One Friday night, we playing against Franklinton, and I fouled somebody, and he said, son, that is the most softest foul I've ever seen in my life. So that Saturday, he pulls out these old tapes from the 1989 Detroit Pistons versus the Chicago Bulls and the 87 versus the Boston Celtics. And he's like, if you're gonna foul somebody, son, this is the way you do it. That next week we played Independence in basketball, and sure enough, first quarter I get ejected and coach is cursing me out, yelling at me. And I said, you should thank Joe Dumas, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas for this. And so, Bill and Beer, that whole crew, right, of just hard foulers. And so sure enough, I was suspended the next game, and it just wasn't a good look for him. And so my dad, you know, he wanted to jump on me, but I said, you deserve this, you earned this. And so what a blessing that Joe Dumas was for me in my life. And this gentleman to my left, David Harris, his nephew, in our true story, was my teammate at Tulane, Adam Couture, and was a great player for us, was with that team that in 2005 that we're doing Katrina, was a great football player, great person. Right now he's assistant district attorney in Baton Rouge, who worked with my older sister in Baton Rouge as well. And then the man, and the reason why I went to LSU, and Kevin Falk, coming out of Cannery High School, I never forget Kevin Falk being on the cover of Tiger Rag magazine. And I always said I want to be a part of that. And so these gentlemen up here have played a huge influence in my life, and I'm grateful for them today. And they deserve everything that they've got. And so when Ken called me last week, and then he talked about the panel of speakers, he didn't say, let's talk about LSU sitting there 3-0, number 3 in the country, or Tulane coming off this great, amazing win, or Louisiana Tech sitting there 2-1. He said, I want you to talk about the New Orleans Saints. And I said, oh my gosh, you know. I love the Saints, just like everybody in this room. But look at the positives that we have going on. And then he wants me to come up here and wrap it up and be David Downer. Like, you know, football is simple. It's very simple. You score more points on the team, you got a chance to win, right? That's pretty simple. And if you can stop the team from scoring more points than you, then you'll have another chance to win. And unfortunately, the last couple of weeks, that hadn't happened. And, I do believe that the Saints are trending in the right direction. I think the NFL, just like most times in college football, it's about head coach and quarterback being married at the hip. You've got to find the right guy that can fit your offense and then culture-wise can build that culture with what the head coach is doing. I think Spencer Rattler, the last few weeks have played very solid. But, I had this great coach, I don't know if you ever heard of him before, Nick Saban, when I was at LSU. He was pretty successful, I think, in his time at LSU. But he had this saying, if you want to create these winning opportunities on offense, you've got to have these 6 to 8 plays throughout the game where you're having 20 plus yards per play, right? And so, unfortunately, Spencer's he's played safe, and I think a lot of it is because I think he heard the conversation, like many going into the season, that he's a turnover-prone quarterback. And so he's played the safe game, which I understand. But if the Saints are going to take that next step, I do think that they've got to find a way to create more explosive plays on offense. And then defensively, I think it's pretty simple. Just getting off the field on third down. That's the name of the game in the NFL. Creating turnovers and then getting off the field on third down. And I think if you see more of that, and I think they're trending in the right direction, you'll see more, at least wins, than what we've seen the first 2 weeks of the season. The NFL is a close game, all right? Every week you see in the fourth quarter, I think I looked at the numbers, even with some of the games out of the 15, 16 games that were played this weekend, only 3 of them were won by 10 points or more, all right? And if of those 10 games that were won by 10 points or more, those 3 games that were won by 10 points or more, you saw that in the fourth quarter, it is a one-score game. So the margin of error in the National Football League is very slim and it's very close. And so how do you create those opportunities that create turnovers that give you the momentum of these games? You saw that with these 2 programs the last couple of weeks, is that in those opportunistic moments, defensively they made a play, and then offensively they were able to create some type of explosive play that changed the pendulum of that game. And so I think if the Saints continue to do what they're doing, find a way to get some more explosive plays, I think we'll be a little bit more, we'll be happier next week coming in here. Obviously, Coach Falk talked about getting ready for Ole Miss, but Ole Miss is going to be coming off a loss. I just want to know, I want the world to know that they'll go into that game 3-1. So we're excited about the opportunities. I just think what these guys are doing and all these gentlemen on here, that's doing a phenomenal job of really molding and shaping the lives of young people, because at the end of the day, the more we can shape the lives of these young people, the better society will be. So thank you all for having me, Ken. I hope I did a good job for you, brother. All right?